Hi everybody, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about massive root growth. People, and when I say that, I'm getting these phone calls like in the last month. Everybody wants to literally, they're looking for massive root growth at this time of year. And I think the most important thing to say is if you're trying to move your way into a building and there's a concrete block wall there, probably best not to go through the concrete block wall, but to maybe go to the right or to the left and go through a door. The reason for that analogy is in the middle of summer when it's excessively hot and humid, roots don't want to grow. So it's kind of like beating your head on a concrete block wall. What you want to do is you want to do everything you can to preserve what root mass you have in the summer. With excessive heat and humidity, plants are just thinking, how do I survive? So if you're asking them to produce fruit, say in a vegetable situation or a crop situation, that's even a bigger stressor. Okay, so there's energy required for creating the fruit, and so growing the roots is just even more taxed and even more difficult. So long story short, if you are not trying to grow a crop with fruit, it's just the sheer heat stress, drought stress, humidity stress, or all of the above combined that are taxing the plants to such a degree that the plants just don't have extra energy to put into root growth. So what we're trying to do is figure out how do we preserve the roots we have, because under the conditions of heat and drought and humidity excesses, you're going to lose root mass during the summer. So what I'm here to tell you is, and I've already been out to tell you about a product called Influence that we make. That's about one of the best things you can do. You can of course use mycorrhizae. My son Josh just did a video recently on mycorrhizae. Go look at that, it's on YouTube. Influence and mycorrhizae together, great knockout combination for preserving root mass now. And then what I want to do is I want to take you from that, and I want to help you understand that naturally in the agronomic fall of the year in your area, wherever you're located, that's when roots want to grow. When the trees and the shrubs and the crops, perennial crops that is, are going to sleep and they're dropping leaves off of trees and plants are going dormant for the winter, instead of pushing photosynthetic carbohydrate sugars to the leaves for more growth and apical dominance, all those photosynthetic carbohydrate sugars, otherwise known as plant food, it's being shoved down to the roots. It's being shoved down to the roots in the agronomic fall, and it's being shoved down there in perennial plants because the plant is saying, I need to store food, or like if you do canning, store food down in my cold cellar. And the cold cellar in a plant, a perennial plant, is basically the basement and the roots. And so they expand the roots that they have below in order to store photosynthetic carbohydrate sugars. Makes sense, right? Plant's going dormant, it wants to store food for next spring, so it's growing its roots. So naturally in the fall, that's when a plant wants to grow its roots. So if you really want to grow roots and you want to just enhance what's already naturally occurring, the best thing you can do, and this is when a lot of people don't do anything with their trees or with their shrubs or with their perennial agricultural crops, pastures and what have you, they don't think that it's important to put effort into those crops or those plants in the fall. And it's actually, in my opinion, my very humble opinion, probably the most important time of year to make an effort toward those plants, because that's the time of year when you grow the roots naturally. And if you just simply enhance that natural process that's already occurring now we can really grow some quote-unquote massive roots. And so we use influence out the yin-yang. That's one of my favorite little phrases. We use influence and mycorrhizae in the fall, and that's when we'll use a soft touch of NPK, one that is organic, one that is protein-based, one that is going to help feed the biology, grow the fungal biomass, all of this kind of stuff. You do all of that in the soil, and you can really grow some of those roots that you're asking about. So preserve the roots now. It's summertime. Roots want to die right now. So preserve the roots now with influence. If you need to use mycorrhizae, that will help, absolutely. It'll set up a temporary fungal root mass. Basically, that's what it is. If you have questions more deeply about that, call me, and I'd be happy to tell you about it. Call Organic Approach, go to organicapproach.com, send in a web sales message or info at whatever. I'll get back to you. Just give me a little bit of time. Got a lot of stuff going on. In the fall, push the root growth. It's a time of year when you should be making more applications. If you do that, next spring, you'll come out of the gates looking fantastic, and you'll be looking fantastic because you grew a massive root zone in the fall, and you did it using products like Influence or like our Nourish or like our Finesse GVH. And we've gone over some of those products in the past. And if you have any questions, just give me a call, okay? But preserve your roots now. Do it with Influence and mycorrhizae or Nourish and mycorrhizae. And just preserve them, okay? You can't grow massive roots right now. Preserve what you have, and then put your eyes to the fall and make sure that you get a plan together for growing out those massive root systems that you want in the fall, when it naturally is already occurring, so that you can just add momentum to that push. All right? Thank you very much. Have yourselves a great day. Take care.